There's an interesting paradox that is playing on the planet at the moment. And the paradox is that we are more connected now than at any other time in history. There are 5 billion people online. 5 billion. That's 2/3 of the planet. That 24/7, 7 days a week, with the tap of a thumb, we are all reachable and we are all DMable. Yet, the World Health Organization has classified loneliness as a global health crisis. Loneliness increases the risk of premature death by 30%. That's like smoking 15 cigarettes a day. Very interesting, I can hear you all say, but what's that got to do with me? It's got everything to do with you. And the reason it has everything to do with you is that loneliness is not the result of an absence of people in one's life. It's the absence of genuine connection. A little while back, I was sitting where you were at an overseas speakers convention, and a speaker took the stage and she looked the part. She wore a killer outfit. She had all the statistics and all the facts to back up everything that she needed to say. And her topic was stress management. But the moment she started speaking about stress, there's a stress ball that formed in my tummy. Because we can feel other people's energy. You would have felt my energy when I came up on the stage speaking to professional speakers. So much more comfortable speaking to non-professional speakers. And so we mirror each other's energy system. We feel energy before we process any words. And what actually happens when what we're saying is not aligned with what we're feeling is that there's an incongruence. And with incongruence comes a lack of safety. And when there's a lack of safety, what do? We brace. Performance keeps the room braced, and connection allows the room to breathe. And so let's do that now. Let's all connect for a moment. So what I would invite you to do is just take a breath. That's all we're going to do now, is just take a breath and just breathe in from the very, very, very bottom, all the way from the very bottom of our spine. Let's breathe in through the nose. And just allow that breath to remain above the head, and just hold that breath for a moment. And let's breathe out through an open mouth. Oh. This is day 1 of the conference. This is day 1 of the summit. We're all feeling a bit, what's our place here today? And so let's just shake it for a moment. So just stand up for a second, just shake it all out. Shake it all out. Let it all go. Whew. Ah. Release that energy, that stuck energy, like, where do I fit? What's my position here? What do people think of me? That's right. Take a seat. The truth is that we are all performers on and off the stage. So about 5 years ago, the training arm of my global business was at its peak. I had everything happening. I had created the world's first network of global hypnotherapy clinics. I had 22 clinics, United States, Canada, United Kingdom, New Zealand, Australia. I had workshops happening. keynotes, traveling to the States 4 times a year, online courses, retreats, trainers. It was all going on like clockwork because I was running towards this mythical destination that I kept going to. In fact, I was even awarded Hypnotist of the Year in Chicago by my peers. Funny thing is, you can see the shock on my face. I did not expect it. I didn't even know I was in the running. I had not even heard of these awards. And for the gala dinner, I didn't even bother to get dressed. I was wearing the outfit I was wearing all day as I was presenting. And when they called my name, and my name then was Helen Midas, that was my brand. My brand was Helen Midas. My book was written by Helen Midas. It was helenmidas.com. Everything was Helen Midas. That was the identity, Helen Midas. They called my name, Helen Midas. And this is what I did. I was supposed to, it was actually a stage exactly like this one, and I was supposed to walk around the stage and up those stairs. What did I do in my shock? Did I do that? Did I do what you're supposed to do? No, this is how I entered the stage as I got up from my seat. And my speech consisted of one word. Thank you. I couldn't speak. I was shocked. And later on, I asked Calm, he's the wonderful organizer of this conference in Chicago, and I said to him, why? Why me? I'm just this Aussie chick from Australia. Like, why did I get this award from the Americans? And he said to me something I've never forgotten. He said to me, your work does not go unnoticed. And that really got me, because how many of you here work silently day after day, night after night, creating businesses from nothing? My business was created from my living room as I started seeing one client after another client after another client. And sometimes you're creating content and you're thinking, is anybody watching? Is anybody noticing? Does anybody care? There's so much noise out there. And so when he said that to me, it meant everything. It meant, you know what? There is a ripple effect that actually happens. There's a ripple effect that actually occurs once you start putting your heart in your work, and it does get noticed. So I was getting the accolades. I was getting it all because I was working so hard in this business. My adrenal systems were at critical levels. My life looked something like this because I was touring regularly as well. One day it was Brisbane, next day it was Sydney, next day it was Auckland, next day it was Boston, next day it was Chicago. And my life looked something like this. Breathe in, exhaling out. That's the way. Breathe in, exhaling out. One more time. Breathe in, exhaling, and sleep. Keep Helen Midas' hand and give her hand right great. And then one day I had an awakening where I was wondering where I was running to. I started to feel resistance in my body every time I got on stage to speak to someone. And in fact, this was during COVID, where it was every time I turned on the screen to speak to someone. I felt like I couldn't do one more pitch. I felt like I couldn't do one more conversion. I felt like I couldn't say that same story that I have said so many times one more time. And so I did the hardest thing that I've ever done in my whole life. I shut it all down and I walked away. And I walked away with nothing there. There was no backup plan. And I entered this uncomfortable void space where I had promised myself that unless I had this fire inside me, I wouldn't care if there was no money coming in. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. Unless there's fire there, I'm not doing it. And so, yeah, the bank balance was going down. I managed to keep very busy because even when I'm not earning money, I'm still very busy. I started writing my second book. I created 3 podcasts, 3 that no one was listening to. But I was still doing that. It was a Tuesday night. It was 5 minutes to 6. And I was hanging back from entering the local speakers chapter meeting. I didn't want to walk into the meeting. Do you know why? Because I was going to get asked a question. You all know what this question is. Exactly. The question is, what's your topic? Exactly. So, what do you speak on? At this particular time in my life, I was not speaking on anything. So I said this instead. Well, what I used to speak on was I used to train hypnotherapists all around the world, and I used to do these tours. I'm a CSP. I wrote a book. What do you speak on? And before they even had the chance to work out that, hang on, their question hasn't been answered. They were in the spotlight, which is exactly what I wanted, me to be out of the spotlight and them to be in the spotlight. Because I hated that question during those years where, and it was years, I let myself stay in those years because I needed to learn how to actually not work. My mother is 94 years old, and when you ring her up to ask her how she is, she's too busy to speak to you. She's flat out. That's the family that I've grown up in. And so I was very uncomfortable because this outfit of an overachiever, successful entrepreneur, hard worker, it didn't fit anymore. I felt really uncomfortable. I felt exposed. I felt naked. I didn't want to answer that question. Don't ask me that question. But if we're honest, because here's where we speak truth, if we are honest, we all perform at some level. Because if we didn't perform at some level, you would be speaking to everybody here like you speak to your closest person in the world. Speaking for myself, I would be politically incorrect. I would be insecure. Oh my God, professional speakers. And I would be weird as all fuck. And in this world where people cannot tell the difference between AI generated and super polished and super rehearsed, they just want one thing. They just want to connect to you. They just want to connect to your heart. That's all they want. But in order to connect, we need to take that mask off. We need to let go of that armor. And that takes courage. Courage to say where you're really at, what's really going on for you. And so what we need to do is, rather than put more on top of who we are, is actually release and let go of who we are not. So many of you would have heard the story of Michelangelo when he created the magnificent statue of David. And they asked him, how did you create such a magnificent statue? And he said, all I did was chip away everything that David wasn't. And then David just revealed himself. But what you may not know is that for 25 years, that marble sat there and 2 other sculptors were commissioned to do the work. But they couldn't do it because the marble was weathered. The marble was too narrow. The marble was too old. It wasn't good enough. And yet, here comes David. And so what if inside of every single person here lies the magnificence of who you truly, truly, truly are? What if what you have not been able to say is in fact what you need to say? So what I'd like to do right now is the fun bit. I have an invitation for you where we all go through a very short journey that you can keep in your back pocket and that you can take anywhere, anytime. It's a simple and powerful hypnosis technique where you can choose performance, no, not performance, connection over performance every time. So who wants to do that? Who's ready for that? Who's ready for that? Let's do this, this is exciting. And so what I'm going to do is, first of all, just let go of everything that you're holding on to. Everything, phones, put them down. This is a time to get present. This is a gift that I'm going to give you. And I would love it if you receive this gift. So please put down your phones. And what I would like you to do is, if you've got crossed legs, uncross your legs. If you've got crossed arms, uncross your arms. We want the energy to flow all the way through the body. That's right. Okay, and so what I want you to do to begin with is actually keep your eyes open until the time that I ask you to close your eyes. So keeping your eyes open, what I want you to do is look at a point above eye level and just focus on that point. Noticing that as you focus on that point above eye level, that your peripheral vision on the sides is starting to open up and expand. What we're going to do is we're going to breathe together now, keeping your eyes open. And that breath is going to come from the very, very, very bottom of your body, through your nose. So let's breathe in, holding it at the very top of your head, and then we're breathing it out of an open mouth, and we make some sound as we do that. That's right. Let's do that again. Nice, big breath in. Holding it and letting it go. Perfect. One more time. Breathing in all the way. Holding it. This time, as you breathe out, allow those eyes to close on down, all the way down. This is your time to relax. There's nothing that you need to do. There's nobody that needs anything from you in this moment. You've all come here in this room at this time for a reason. You are supposed to be here. Keep breathing. As I'm talking, notice that you're breathing through the nose and you're breathing out through an open mouth. And we're going to start at the very top of our head, we're going to notice that that feeling of relaxation is going to start to travel through the forehead, through your eyelids, relaxing those eyelids, through the cheekbones, even the tummy feels relaxed. That's right. And that feeling of relaxation moves down the neck, down those arms to the fingertips, all the way down the torso, down those legs to the very tips of those toes. Breathing, releasing, letting go. And now I want you to use the power of your imagination, because as speakers, you have very, very powerful imaginations. And I want you to imagine that your subconscious mind is now traveling out of the body, above this room, and it's looking down at you sitting in the chair. And your subconscious mind is floating into the past. And the past could be this morning when you entered this room. The past could be yesterday. Past could be a week ago, it could be 5 years ago, it could be 10 years ago. It might be 20 years ago. I don't know, but you do. And you're going to come to a scene in the movie of your life which you're looking down at. And in this scene, you received a story which you took on, that you are not okay exactly the way you are. That for some reason, you needed to be more like that person, sound more like that person, and less like you. And you believe that story. And as you look down at that scene where you believe this story, that you are not okay exactly the way you are, as you look down, what is there to learn? Ask yourself this question: what do I need to know about the character that I'm playing, about the scene that I'm in? What do I need to know for sure? What is it that I know for sure? What's the learning that I need to now take with me and carry into my future? And take this learning with you. Keep staying nice and high above the movie of your life and keep moving back towards now. But I want you to pass over every scene where you had previously decided that you were not okay. Change the narrative, change the story, change the outcome of that scene. Because if you change the story, the outcome changes. For every scene on the way back to now, where you could have decided that you don't need to be like that person, you don't need to sound like that person, you don't need to look like that person, that you are perfect just the way you are. All the times that you said no, then you could have said yes. What would have changed? Change it now. This is your movie. You do whatever you like with your movie, whatever you like. And as you come back to now, keeping your eyes closed, make a declaration to yourself. What will you now say no to? What outfits no longer fit? Decide. That's not who you are anymore. You love the former you. They gave you all the blessings to bring you to here, to this moment. That's no longer you. That outfit no longer fits. You'll be taken care of regardless. And now that you free yourself for what no longer fits, what will you say yes to? What opportunities will come your way? What collaborations will meet you at your new frequency? What are your new standards? What values will you hold up high? Make a declaration that you will be more of you. Because the reality of you is so much greater than the idea of you. And let's take a nice big breath now. Holding it and releasing it of an open mouth. And very gently, very calmly, let's enter back into the space by feeling our toes, our fingertips. Very gently opening your eyes when you're ready to do so. Take all the time you need. That's right. How are you all feeling? So this is the invitation that I have for all of you. What changed my life more than anything is this one practice. And by changing my life, I mean I don't do anything that I don't want to do. The bank balance just sorts itself out magically, somehow. And so what I would invite you to do is to stand beside me, to look down at the movie of your life where you are the main character, and to keep asking yourself, hey, going down there, was that real, what you just said then? Why did you need to say that? Did you need to prove yourself to that person? Why? Do you think they are better than you? They're not. And neither is anyone less than you. To be observant, to be the person that observes the movie rather than being drawn by the movie. Watch yourself in the movie. Ask yourself why you say certain things. Ask yourself whether you are performing on and off the stage. And I also have another request. During the course of this summit, when you're meeting new people, don't ask them, so what do you speak on? I have a different question for you to ask. Why do you speak? Because our why comes to our heart. It comes from our heart. We can't bullshit our way out of our why. It's who we really are. It's why we're here when other people are too frightened to be here. It's why we're sharing our stories. It's why we're connecting. And so for one moment, what I'd like you to do is place your hand on your heart. It's hard for me to do that with this microphone. And connect to your why for a second. Why you're here. You're not here to prove. You're not here to be like anyone else. You're here to be you. Amazing, incredible, magnificent, majestic, uniquely, weird as all fuck, you. And as you breathe into that and let that go, let's acknowledge that there are enough performers in the world. We have plenty of them. What the world needs is braver speakers. So be one. Thanks for playing with me today.
Self-empowerment. That was my controlling question.
She's too eager.